Do you ever feel exhausted from trying to be the perfect wife, the perfect mother, an excellent employee? Does it feel like you're constantly juggling a dozen invisible roles, each with its own impossible standard of perfection? You're told you can have it all, but no one ever tells you about the silent, crushing weight that comes with trying to be it all. This isn't just about a busy schedule. It's a deeper, more profound exhaustion, the mental fatigue of constantly measuring yourself against a flawless ideal, a ghost you can never quite become. It's that relentless voice in your head, the one that whispers after a long day, "You could have done more, you should have been better." This is the gilded cage of perfectionism. It looks beautiful and admirable from the outside, but inside, it slowly suffocates our peace, replacing it with a quiet, chronic sense of failure. But what if the path to strength wasn't found in adding more to our plates, but in taking things off? The ancient Stoics understood this. They knew that our greatest struggles don't come from the world outside, but from the judgments within. As the Emperor Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is the heart of our work today. Welcome to Stoicism for Women, the space where we trade this relentless pressure for that profound strength. This isn't about lowering your standards or giving up on your dreams. It's about a radical redirection of your energy. It's about ceasing the war against things you cannot control and instead turning inward to build the one thing you can, the fortress of your own mind. Together, we will learn to let go of the 3 heavy stones we were never meant to carry: the ghosts of past mistakes, the weight of others' expectations, and the suffocating myth of the perfect life. Are you ready to begin?
Number 1, letting go of others' expectations. It is not events that disturb people, it is their judgments concerning them. Epictetus. Have you ever been haunted? I'm not talking about ghosts in a haunted house, but a ghost of a different kind. The ghost of a past decision. The ghost of a single moment, a single choice that follows you around like a shadow, whispering, "What if?" in the quiet moments of your day. It's the ghost of the person you might have been if only you had chosen differently. This ghost is a master of disguise. Sometimes it looks like regret, a heavy cloak you wear on a cold morning. Other times, it looks like anxiety, a constant, low hum beneath the surface of your life, telling you that because you failed once, you will surely fail again. For many of us, especially as women who are often expected to be intuitive, to be the careful planners and the emotional anchors for others, the weight of a past mistake can feel less like a memory and more like a brand, a permanent mark of failure. We build a quiet, lonely room in our minds for this ghost to live in. Let's call it the echo chamber. Inside, our mistakes are played on an endless loop. The relationship you stayed in for years too long, knowing it was dimming your light. The career opportunity you were too scared to take. The harsh word you snapped at someone you love. We become the unwilling audience to our own private tragedy, again and again. But what if I told you that you hold the power to silence the echo? What if the door to that room was never locked? The Stoics, those ancient masters of the human soul, understood this haunting intimately. They knew that the past, with all its triumphs and sorrows, is a foreign country. We can look at pictures, we can remember the journey, but we can never go back. It is, in their language, anakaron, external, something utterly beyond our control. The great teacher Epictetus gave us one of the most liberating truths in all of philosophy when he said, It is not events that disturb people. It is their judgments concerning them. The pain is not in the mistake. The mistake is over. It is a fixed point in time. The pain, the haunting, is in the judgment we cast upon that mistake, right here, in this present moment. The power isn't in changing the past. It's in changing the story we tell ourselves about it. Let me tell you a story about a woman named Clara. Clara was brilliant, a talented graphic designer at a stable, well-respected firm. But Clara was haunted. 10 years ago, she had been offered a position at a tiny, risky tech startup. Her gut told her to stay safe, to choose the predictable path. Her friend, on the other hand, took a similar risk. Today, that friend was a partner at a wildly successful company, while Clara was comfortable, safe, and haunted by the ghost of the what if. This ghost was her constant companion. When she sat in meetings, it whispered, "You could have been leading this meeting if only you'd been braver." When she looked at her finances, it sighed, "Imagine where you'd be now." The ghosts of this one decision poisoned her present. It made her doubt her successes, magnify her small failures, and paralyzed her from taking any new risks. She was living a life defined not by her present reality, but by a decade-old shadow. One evening, scrolling aimlessly, she stumbled upon a quote from the Roman philosopher Seneca. "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." It was a simple line, but it struck her with profound force. She realized she had never allowed her old beginning, the moment she chose the safe path, to truly end. She was still there, mourning at its grave, refusing to move on. She had been so focused on the closed door that she hadn't seen all the other doors that had opened since. That night, Clara decided not to fight the ghost, but to understand it. She decided to become a Stoic in her own life. Her first step was something that felt both simple and impossible. She learned to acknowledge the feeling, but not identify with it. The next time the familiar wave of regret washed over her as she saw a news article about the tech industry, she didn't push it away or let it pull her under. She paused. She took a breath, and she said to herself, "Ah, there it is. The what if story. I am noticing a feeling of regret." This small act was revolutionary. By naming the feeling, she separated herself from it. She wasn't regretful Clara. She was Clara, a whole and complete person who was currently experiencing a feeling of regret. It was like noticing a cloud in the sky. You are not the cloud. You are the sky that holds it. This created a tiny pocket of space, and in that space, she found her freedom to choose her next thought. Her second step was to reframe the mistake as tuition for wisdom. For a decade, her question had been, "Why was I so foolish?" Now, armed with a new perspective, she asked a different question. What was that choice trying to teach me? This required brutal honesty. She sat down with a journal and forced herself to excavate the past, not for pain, but for data. Why did she choose the safe job? Because at that time in her life, after a turbulent family situation, what she craved most was stability. Her choice wasn't an act of cowardice. It was an act of self-preservation. What did staying at her safe firm teach her? It taught her that she was an exceptional mentor. She had trained half a dozen junior designers who had gone on to do incredible things. It taught her that she valued deep, collaborative relationships with her colleagues more than a cutthroat, competitive environment. It taught her that her definition of a successful life wasn't actually about stock options and headlines. It was about quiet pride in her craft and having the energy to be present for the people she loved. The mistake wasn't a mistake at all. It was the expensive, necessary tuition she had paid for the priceless gift of self-knowledge. She wasn't a failure. She was a graduate of a very difficult class. Finally, Clara took the most courageous step of all. She learned to practice self-compassion as a virtue. She realized she spoke to herself in a way she would never, ever speak to a friend. So she tried an exercise. She pictured her best friend, 10 years younger, sitting in front of her, agonizing over the same 2 job offers. What would Clara say to her? She wouldn't call her a coward. She would say, listen, look at everything you're dealing with right now. It makes perfect sense that you're leaning towards stability. There is no right or wrong answer here, only a choice. Whatever you choose, you will learn from it. You are strong, you are smart, and this one decision will not define the rest of your life. I believe in you. And as she spoke these words to her imaginary friend, tears welled up in her eyes, because she had never, not once, offered that same grace to herself. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, perhaps the most powerful man in the world, wrote constantly in his private journal about the need for kindness and forgiveness, not just for others, but for himself. A Stoic woman understands that being a friend to herself is not an indulgence. It is a core tenet of wisdom. Clara granted herself the pardon she so freely would have given to another. She looked the ghost of her past in the eye and said, "Thank you for the lessons. You are free to go now." Letting go of the ghosts of our past is not a single event. It is a daily practice of choosing the present. It is the understanding that your past has shaped you, but it does not have the right to define you. You are the author of your story. The previous chapters, with all their twists and turns, have led you to this exact page, but they do not dictate what you will write next. You are holding the pen, and you can start a new sentence right now. Part 2. The weight of others. Expectations. We've just walked through the echo chamber of the past, learning to silence the ghosts of our mistakes. But what happens when the prison isn't internal? What happens when the walls aren't built from our own memories, but from the smiles, the sighs, and the silent glances of everyone around us? If the past is an echo chamber, then the expectations of others are a cage. It's a beautifully constructed cage, often decorated with the ribbons of love, tradition, and good advice. But it is a cage nonetheless, and its bars are forged from the heaviest, most invisible metal known to woman, the word should. Let me tell you about a woman we'll call Maya. On paper, Maya had it all. She was the living embodiment of the checklist. The successful career with a corner office she'd secured by 30? Check. The tasteful house in a good school district? Check. The loving husband and 2 well-behaved children who excelled at both soccer and piano? Check. And check. Her social media was a curated masterpiece of family vacations, home-baked sourdough, and smiling, effortless perfection. Maya wasn't just winning the game, she was the poster child for it. But in the quiet moments after the children were asleep and the house was still, a different feeling would surface, a hollow ache, a sense of profound emptiness. She felt like an actress who had played a role so convincingly for so long that she had forgotten her own name. She was the curator of a beautiful museum dedicated to a life she was supposed to want, but she rarely felt like she was actually living in it. Every achievement, instead of bringing joy, simply brought the pressure of the next item on the checklist. Every compliment felt like a reinforcement of the bars of her cage, making it harder to imagine a life outside of it. Maya was suffering from a uniquely modern affliction, the poverty of abundance. She had everything, yet she felt nothing. She was chasing an illusion, the idea that if she could just arrange all the external pieces of her life into a perfect picture, an inner feeling of peace would magically appear. The Stoics had a word for that inner peace she was so desperately seeking: ataraxia. It means a state of profound inner tranquility, an unshakable calm that comes not from having everything you want, but from wanting nothing that is outside of your control. They understood that chasing illusions, especially the illusion of gaining peace through the approval of others, is the surest way to destroy it. The Roman philosopher Seneca, a man who knew both immense wealth and political exile, captured this paradox perfectly. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Maya was rich in possessions, but poor in spirit because she was endlessly craving more validation, more approval, more proof that she was doing it all right. She had outsourced her sense of self-worth to the world, and the world is a fickle master. This ancient problem has a powerful modern accelerant, the highlight reel of social media. We are constantly presented with the curated end results of other people's lives, without any of the messy, difficult, imperfect processes that went into them. We see the promotion, not the years of doubt and late nights. We see the perfect family photo, not the argument that happened 5 minutes before it was taken. This creates a constant, low-grade sense of inadequacy. We begin to believe that everyone else has figured it out, and that our own messy, complicated reality is a sign that we are failing. This is where the Stoic path offers us a radical, liberating alternative. It asks us to stop playing the game of external validation altogether. It invites us to turn our focus inward, to build a source of validation so strong and so true that the opinions of others become what they truly are, just noise. So how do we begin this journey? How do we, like Maya, start to find our way back to ourselves? The first step is the most crucial. Conduct an audit of your shoulds. This is a quiet, honest act of introspection. Take out a journal and, over the next week, start to notice every time you think or say the word should in relation to your own life. I should lose 10 pounds. I should volunteer more at my kids' school. I should be further along in my career by now. For each should, I want you to perform a simple investigation. Ask yourself, whose voice is this? Is it your mother's voice, concerned about your security? Is it the voice of a competitive colleague? Is it the voice of that impossibly perfect influencer on Instagram? Is it the voice of a culture that tells women they must be everything to everyone? Very rarely will you find that the voice is your own, authentic inner wisdom. By simply identifying the source of the pressure, you begin to separate it from your own identity. You realize you've been living your life according to a script written by a committee of other people. This act of awareness is the first step in taking back the pen. The second step is to practice the pause. When you feel the pressure of an external expectation, perhaps a family member makes a comment about your parenting style, or you see a friend's engagement announcement and feel a pang of, I should be there too, I want you to resist the urge to immediately react or spiral. Instead, just pause. Take one deep breath. In that pause, you create a space between the external trigger and your internal response. In that space, you can ask a simple Stoic question. Is this within my control? The other person's opinion? Not in your control. The societal timeline for marriage? Not in your control. Your own internal reaction? Your own next thought? That is entirely 100% within your control. This pause is your sanctuary. It's where you stop being a reactor and start being a responder, choosing your actions from a place of calm reason rather than anxious impulse. The third and most empowering step is to define your own scorecard. If you are no longer being graded on the world's checklist, then how do you measure a life well lived? You create your own metrics based on your own values. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, were masters of this. His meditations are essentially a record of him grading himself, not on battles won or territory gained, but on his character. So what's on your new scorecard? Instead of did I get the promotion, the question becomes did I act with integrity today? Instead of does my house look perfect, the question becomes did I create a space of kindness and love within my home? Instead of did everyone like me, the question becomes was I true to my own values? This shifts the entire locus of control from the outside in. Your self-worth is no longer a fragile thing, dependent on praise or shattered by criticism. It becomes a resilient internal fortress, your inner citadel. Now, a common fear arises here, a whisper that can stop us in our tracks. But isn't this selfish? Isn't it selfish to stop worrying about what others think, especially those we love? This is a fundamental misunderstanding of the Stoic path. The Stoics would argue that it is the opposite of selfish. It is an act of self-responsibility. You are recognizing that your primary duty is to cultivate your own mind, to maintain your own inner peace and virtue. Why? Because you cannot pour from an empty cup. When you act out of a desperate need for approval, your actions are tainted with anxiety and insecurity. But when you act from a full cup, from a place of inner strength and self-acceptance, your kindness is more genuine, your love is more unconditional, and your contributions to the world are more powerful. Let's go back to Maya. Her journey wasn't about dramatically quitting her job or abandoning her family. The change was quieter and far more profound. She started her audit of shoulds and realized most of her stress came from trying to uphold a perfect image for people she barely knew. She started practicing the pause. When a colleague got a promotion she secretly wanted, she paused, acknowledged the pang of envy, and then consulted her own scorecard, reminding herself that she had acted with integrity and kindness that day, which was her true goal. She started finding joy not in the perfect, finished product, but in the messy, imperfect process. The joy wasn't in the photo of the finished sourdough loaf. It was in the feeling of the dough in her hands. The joy wasn't in the applause at the piano recital. It was in hearing her child stumble through a new piece, the sound of effort and learning filling the house. Maya didn't let go of her life. She let go of the illusion of what her life was supposed to be, and in doing so, she finally began to truly live it. Letting go of the weight of others' expectations is not a single act of rebellion. It is a quiet daily practice of returning to your own compass. It is the understanding that you can be a good daughter, a good partner, a good mother, and a good friend without sacrificing the duty you have to be a good friend to yourself. It is the quiet, unshakable peace of coming home to yourself. Number 3, letting go of the perfect life. We've walked through the echo chamber of the past, learning to silence the ghosts of our mistakes. We've stood guard at the gates of our minds, learning to distinguish our own values from the weight of others' expectations. But there is one final, more seductive ghost we must face. It's not a ghost from the past, nor is it the voice of another person. It is the ghost of the future, the ghost of the life you are supposed to have, the suffocating myth of the perfect life. Have you ever felt like you're living inside a beautiful, carefully curated museum exhibit of your own life? The lighting is perfect. Each object is placed just so. From the outside, it looks flawless, impressive. But you live with the constant low-grade anxiety that one wrong move, one messy moment will shatter the entire display. You have the successful career, the loving partner, the beautiful home, the healthy children. You have ticked every box on the societal checklist of happiness. So why, in the quiet moments when no one is watching, Do you feel a profound sense of emptiness? Why does it feel like you're playing a part rather than living a life? This is the poverty of abundance, a uniquely modern affliction. It is the feeling of having everything, yet possessing nothing. It is the exhaustion that comes from chasing a horizon that constantly recedes the closer you get. This phantom of the perfect life is perhaps the most dangerous ghost of all, because it's the one we are taught to worship. We see it in the filtered perfection of social media, in the narratives of movies, in the stories we are told about what it means to be a successful woman. We start to believe this illusion is a real, achievable destination. And in doing so, we begin to see our own real, messy, complicated, beautiful lives, not as a gift to be lived, but as a series of problems to be fixed. The ancient Stoics, those clear-eyed realists, had no time for such phantoms. They understood that a life spent chasing illusions is a life wasted. Their goal was not a perfect life, but a virtuous one. Not a flawless existence, but a tranquil mind. They called this state ataraxia, a profound inner calm that is immune to the chaos of the outside world. They knew that this peace could never be found in external achievements. The Roman philosopher Seneca, a man who experienced both the heights of power and the depths of exile, put it with devastating clarity. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more. That is poor. We become poor in spirit when we are endlessly craving the next external validation, the next promotion, the next compliment, the next perfect family photo that proves to the world and to ourselves that we are winning. We have outsourced our happiness to outcomes we can't fully control, and that is a recipe for perpetual anxiety. Let me tell you about a woman named Emily. Emily was the architect of a seemingly perfect life. She was a successful lawyer, a mother of two, a wife, a marathon runner, and the kind of person whose home always seemed to be filled with the scent of freshly baked bread. Her friends admired her. Her family was proud of her. Her Instagram feed was a testament to her ability to have it all. But Emily was living with a secret. Most nights, after the house was quiet, she would sit in her perfect living room and feel nothing but a hollow ache. She felt like a fraud. The joy she was supposed to feel from her achievements was fleeting, immediately replaced by the pressure of the next goal. She wasn't living, she was accumulating. She was collecting evidence for a case she was trying to prove to an invisible jury, the case that she was happy, that she was enough. One day, her 8-year-old daughter came home with a painting from school. It was a wonderfully chaotic swirl of colors with a lopsided sun and a crooked house. Her daughter presented it to her with a look of pure, unadulterated pride. "Look, Mommy, I made this." Emily's first conditioned thought was, the sun is in the wrong corner and the colors are all mixed up. She almost opened her mouth to offer some helpful advice, but she caught herself. She looked at her daughter's beaming face, a face that saw no imperfection, only the joy of creation. And in that moment, Emily saw her own life with painful clarity. She had become so obsessed with making sure her own painting was perfect, every color in its place, every line straight, that she had forgotten the joy of simply painting. That evening, she picked up a book she hadn't touched in years, The Meditations of Marcus Aurelius. She read a line that seemed to be written directly to her. "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Emily realized the quality of her thoughts had become poor. They were thoughts of comparison, of inadequacy, of a constant striving, not enoughness. She decided, right then, to stop chasing the ghost of perfection and start learning to love the real, messy, beautiful painting of her own life. Her journey wasn't about quitting her job or abandoning her ambitions. The change was internal. and it started with 3 quiet rebellions. First, she began to celebrate the process, not just the prize. Our culture is obsessed with the finish line, the promotion, the marathon medal, the published book. The Stoics teach us to find virtue and honor in the effort itself. Emily made a conscious shift. The joy was no longer in closing a big case. It was in the focus and skill she brought to her work that day. The pride was no longer in running the marathon. It was in the discipline of lacing up her sneakers on a cold, dark morning when she didn't feel like it. She stopped seeing her life as a series of trophies to be won and started seeing it as a studio where her character was being forged. Second, she practiced gratitude for the imperfect. This was a profound reframe. Instead of seeing the flaws in her life as evidence of her failure, she started seeing them as evidence of a life being fully lived. She started a new kind of gratitude journal. One night, she wrote, "I am grateful for the pile of laundry in the corner, because it means my children have clothes to wear and have been playing outside. Another night, I am grateful for the lines around my eyes, because they are the roadmap of a million laughs with my husband." This wasn't about pretending to love problems. It was about finding the underlying grace in a real, functioning, non-Instagrammable life. It was about learning to love the texture, not just the filtered gloss. Finally, Emily created her own scorecard. She realized she had been grading herself on the world's metrics: salary, title, house size. She threw that scorecard away and created a new one, inspired by Marcus Aurelius. Her new daily questions were not, "Did I achieve?" but, "Did I live well?" Was I present when my daughter told me about her day? Did I act with kindness towards a colleague who was struggling? Was I true to my own values even when it was difficult? Now, a common fear often arises here. Does this mean I should just settle for mediocrity? Does letting go of perfection mean giving up on my ambitions? This is a crucial misunderstanding. The Stoics were not passive. They were emperors, senators, playwrights, and entrepreneurs. This is not about abandoning your goals. It is about detaching your self-worth from the outcome of those goals. You can still strive to write a book, run a company, or be the best lawyer you can be. But your sense of peace and value no longer depends on whether the book becomes a bestseller or whether you make partner. Your worth is found in the courage you brought to the attempt, the integrity you showed along the way, and the wisdom you gained, win or lose. Emily didn't stop being ambitious, but her ambition changed. It was no longer the anxious, grasping need for external validation. It became a joyful, internal drive to see what she was capable of, for the sheer love of the process. She found that by letting go of the need to be perfect, she became more creative, more resilient, and, ironically, more successful in the ways that truly mattered to her. Letting go of the myth of the perfect life is the ultimate act of self-acceptance. It is looking at your messy, beautiful, chaotic, real life with its lopsided suns and crooked houses and saying, with a full and peaceful heart, "This is mine." And it is enough. It is the final, most liberating step in coming home to yourself. Letting go. It's not a single act, but a gentle, continuous unfolding. It is the practice of releasing the heavy stones we were never meant to carry, the unchangeable mistakes of the past, the impossible expectations of others, and the exhausting illusion of a perfect life. Peace is not found in achieving a flawless existence. It is found in the grace with which we embrace our imperfect, real, and profoundly beautiful journey. Letting go isn't giving up. It is giving yourself the freedom to finally, truly live. Remember this. The goal was never to have a perfect life, but to build a character strong enough to find peace in any life. That is the freedom you've earned today. If this resonated with you, please subscribe and share in the comments which of these 3 burdens you are working on setting down. Your journey inspires us all.